when somebody asks how you found advertisers for your blog, and you said you mostly get make your revenue from Google AdSense and some affiliate programs. Is there anything else, any other way that you make income from your blogging?
Well, there's direct and indirect paths. So other direct paths that I get is that companies send me lots of stuff, and I have an amazing amount of things sitting around. I mean, I have 5 laptops.
You're the gadget guy, it sounds
Right.
like.
So companies love to send me stuff, and I'm really straight with everyone. It's just like, number one, I can't promise I will ever review your product. And if I do, you have no editorial control, and I reserve the right to just pan it and be brutal. And if that doesn't work for you, then don't send it to me, and all is well, and we'll still be happy friends. And some companies are like, no. There's one really big 3-letter name company in the computer space where I once wrote a bad review about one of their laptops, and then 2 years later, I contacted them about getting another review unit, and they said, no, you write bad stuff about us, we're not going to ever send you anything. And this is like, okay, that's fine. This is your choice. I have plenty of other fish that I can go and look for in the ocean. But yeah, sometimes companies will also send me money to get on my radar screen. And I always disclose all of that to my readers. I always have. So you'll see that, everything I do, I'm very transparent. And I think that's one really important characteristic for blogging. So, for example, if I have an affiliate link, I will not only put a little AFF next to it, but I will then put at the bottom of the article, it's an affiliate link. I will make a buck, or I will make 50 cents if you click through that and buy it. If you don't want to, just go directly to the vendor. Thank you. I mean, I would much rather be upfront with people than have anything be tricky or hidden, or have them not realize that there was potentially some chance for bias or spin or anything. But yeah, I think that, there are definitely bloggers out there that do it for the free stuff, which is perhaps unfortunate. But again, even if they do that, as long as they're honest with their readers, I think that that's totally fine.
Well, absolutely. So the last week we had a lawyer, an intellectual property lawyer, discussing the new FTC changes that came along regarding exactly what you're talking about. So it sounds like you don't need to change anything at all on your website, which is really great.
Yeah, which is nice, because I actually was talking to a couple of FTC lawyers about it all, and just like, you guys have all these user committees. I'd love to be on one, because this is something I've been wrestling with for years. And even before I did blogging, I was a reviews editor for a major computer magazine. And it was the same sort of thing. It's like, well, do we disclose that the vendor sent us this? And does that mean that we're biased? And the vendor also bought this like really expensive ad in the magazine. Do we disclose that? I mean, all of those ethical situations, I think, are important. And just as an example, your local newspaper, Sunday Edition, has an entire section about cars and automotive. That exists purely to sell ad space. So all of those articles that they write are really skewed. You'll never read anything bad about a car. But they don't really tell you that's what's going on. So to some extent, I think that the blogosphere is a test market for the FTC to try to understand disclosure issues, because there's a lot of other corners, a lot of other areas. And another one is film reviews. I don't pay to go see movies, but I don't ever say in my film reviews, hey, I got into this movie without having to pay, because to me, $7 is not going to bias me. But on the other hand, maybe it is an important disclosure that the readers should know, hey, I paid for a ticket for this one, or I bought this DVD versus I got into a movie for free. What do you think, B?
Well, yeah, I also feel that one of the things that we were discussing with the FTC last week is that if it's obvious that there is some sort of relationship there, then you don't need to disclose it. And one of those things would be being a film critic or a film reviewer. Most people would think, well, yeah, they were sent the film. I mean, they're reviewing it. They got in for free, or they got a free ticket. How else would they see the film? That's their job. So, yeah, and again, the cost, and you're not really selling anything either. You're not getting any financial benefit from people seeing the movie or not.
Yeah, trust me, that is definitely not the case.
Right. So then that it wouldn't need to be disclosed in that case either. So, it depends on what you feel comfortable. If you want to keep everything above board and not leave anything to question, even for a $7 or $8 or whatever it costs now ticket.
Definitely.
So great. So, I think, another thing that I really, let's answer this next question, because I'm going to tie it into what we're just talking about with how you do, set up your blogs and disclosure. Because, with the new FTC changes that came along, people may think, well, my income will be affected, won't it? And you've been running your blogs the entire way. So, what kind of money are we talking about, in terms of what can you make a living as a blogger?
Yeah, I don't disclose actual numbers, partially because Google won't let me. But I will say that it is more than paying for my mortgage and has done for years. In fact, I could do nothing else except Ask Dave Taylor and make a very comfortable living. The fact that I do other stuff is just because I believe in diversifying my income streams, just in case.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, having said that, what percentage of blogs actually are generating a six-figure income for the blogger? It's a fraction of a percent.